Welcome to this bonus workshop on social media. I am Samantha Foy. I am the VP of Media at MarketSmith, and I'm so excited to have the privilege of kicking things off for you today. Thank you all for being with us. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping things. Complete bios for the panelists can be found in the speaker section of the event webpage. Don't forget to hashtag New Jersey women to keep the conversation going on social media. And now to get the conversation going, I'm going to introduce ourselves. So as I said, my name is Samantha Foy, VP of Media at MarketSmith. I've been with the company now for 2 years, but I've spent the last 10 years in the media space, really focused on digital media specifically, strategy, planning, implementation of the media, and also performance. And I'm going to let Ajama, my partner in crime here, introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Ajama Eze. I am a senior omni-channel media planner. I've been with MarketSmith for about 6 years now, so it's been a while that I've been with them. They're like my second family at this point. I work in the media space. I buy just about every media you can think of. I have a team now. I work closely with Sam on a lot of our initiatives, including new business, and I am looking forward to walking you guys through this info and introduction about getting to know social a little bit better.
So quickly, just to go through the agenda, I'm going to spend just 2 minutes to talk a little bit about MarketSmith and what we do, and then we're going to dive right into really understanding kind of on a high level everything we need to know about social media, why specifically paid social media is important, and how that kind of differentiates itself between organic and paid. We'll get into that as well. We'll do an overview of all of the various social media platforms, just some quick facts and the different demographics that we can reach through these different channels. We're going to touch a little bit on influencer marketing, which has been super important in this space, especially with the launch of TikTok in particular. We'll go through the different media ad formats, so how we can utilize these platforms and what type of ads that we can tap into to reach our audience. We'll go into a little bit of, the high level steps of what it takes to make a really successful social media campaign. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about specific MarketSmith clients that have had a lot of success through different social media initiatives. And then we'll just do a quick highlight of the social media trends that we should be looking out for in the future, and then open it up for any questions. So who is MarketSmith? And I think this statement kind of says a lot. We don't just plan and buy media. We really are a growth engine. And what that means to us is we really get under the hood with our clients, understanding what their business goals are, not just media goals, but what are they trying to solve for? And what is the data that we have available, both from a client's first-party data and any second and third-party data that we have access to as an agency? How do we bring all of that together to understand what we already know, and then what are the questions that we're trying to answer? And we really marry that artificial intelligence with that human intelligence to make sure that we're helping our clients grow. It's not just about successful media campaigns, it's helping them achieve their goals, whatever those may be. And in terms of clientele, it really runs the gamut. We have a lot of New Jersey state business, which we're really, really proud of. We're the largest buyer of New Jersey media in the state. And we also have a vast majority of national clients that are focused on more D2C sales-driven clients. So really runs the gamut. And that's kind of an overview of what we do at MarketSmith. And without further ado, we're going to get right into what we're here to talk about, which is social media. So I'm going to hand it over to Ajama to kick us off.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. All right. So, over the last 5 years, more specifically, we've really seen a shift in the way brands promote their products and their services in the digital space, especially in the social media space. So, just to kind of put it out there, this really big, bold fact, 72% of all internet users are now active on social media. So that's a big percentage, right? Really, really big percentage. How's that influencing, strategies? So, in a sense, strategies being used around social media, especially about engagement, it's really about creating a genuine and personal presence online. Now social media is used for the full commerce consumer's journey, including customer acquisition, marketing retention, as well as the overall service. So it's really important for brands and companies to not only incorporate it, but also utilize social media when they're planning for their full-year efforts. Okay. And why is paid social important, right? So here I kind of have it laid out, some of the important benefits of running social media, paid social advertising, specifically 7 main benefits, with the first one being increasing visibility, right? You get to tap into a whole new set of audience that you're not going to get when you're talking about TV, when you're talking about radio, when you're talking about out of home. The demo is a little bit younger with the social space, so it's really important for you to reach them where it is that they consume the media the most. Second important benefit is you enhance your targeting by layering in your demo, your zip codes, CRM data. And it goes on. There's even more to that than just a few that we listed out here. But again, because you have options, you can narrow down as specifically as you like when you're targeting in the social space. The third, you boost your brand awareness, right? So, some people may not have heard of you if you're a new business or you're a new company. A great way to just boost that awareness at the most minimal cost is actually through social media. The fourth will be interacting directly with your prospects and customers. I think we're kind of seeing this trend grow year after year, where we see big brands really interact with their customers, or sometimes when customers, kind of lay complaints on their social pages, they have the opportunity to reply right then and there. So that in itself is helping to build not just your brand awareness, but also, again, really solidify your relationship with your customers and your clients. The next is easily reach mobile users. Another big percentage here, majority of people are on their mobile device. I think just about everyone owns a phone at this point with internet service. So it's really easy for you to kind of reach that specific target audience that you're looking for. And so social media is the way to go. And finally, you gather marketing insights. So you run a campaign, you're trying to figure out how it performs. That social media advertisement will provide you insights and data information for you to utilize for future campaigns. So again, just summing it up here, the 7 benefits of running paid social ads, kind of laid it out here for you guys to kind of see the importance of having paid social in your overall marketing strategies and plans.
And one thing I'll add specifically about utilizing paid versus an organic strategy, and one thing that's happened over the years, specifically when we're talking about Facebook and Instagram, is they've adjusted their algorithm to make it harder, unfortunately, for brands to reach their following organically, right? And that's kind of a strategic move on their part to boost, their revenue and get people to utilize their paid services in order to reach, the audience that they're trying to reach. So that's one thing to note in that with an organic strategy, you're really not going to reach the full potential of your audience just organically. And the other part of this too, which I think Ajama touched on is really important, is outside of just general awareness, which we're able to do through social media, it really is a full funnel strategy in that there's different types of objectives that we can utilize based on whatever goals we're trying to reach. So from brand awareness to getting website traffic to sales. And it's really just a matter of putting together the right strategy for a full funnel approach to make sure we're hitting all of those key objectives.
All right. So I love these fact sheets. I love looking for them every year. So here we kind of provided like a quick overview for the social media fact sheets for 2020. We're going to tap into each of the major social platforms out there, starting with Facebook. You know, Facebook is the biggest and still the top social media platform to date. There are over about 2.5 billion monthly active users. Facebook skews a little older. About 74% of the users visit the site, visit the social media platform daily. So that's a big number. And then users spend about 35 minutes a day on Facebook. So we're still seeing that continued increase. We're still seeing that continued growth of Facebook because of, you know, the younger audience are still in there, and as well as the older audience are still logging in and accessing this platform very, very much so. Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. They are all under the same umbrella, but Instagram is very different from Facebook, as you probably have an idea of. It's more pictures, images, short videos. You know, users spend about 53 minutes a day on Instagram, so a lot more than Facebook at the 35 minutes. And then 42% of the users visit the site multiple times a day. So I'm definitely one of those people that check my Instagram probably in the morning and then later on at night, because again, there's so much happening there. And then Instagram skews a little bit higher women than male. About 51% of the users on Instagram are women. Next up is Twitter. So Twitter I consider more of a niche audience. You know, on average, users spend about 3 minutes a day on Twitter. It seems very low, but Twitter is one of those platforms you kind of go in and out pretty frequently. And that's because you're checking it to see if there's any news or informational updates for you, and then you may check it out, you know, frequently throughout the day as well. Twitter does skew heavily male, so we are seeing more men on Twitter than women. About 66% of users on Twitter are men, actually. And then one of the hottest and fastest growing social platforms, TikTok. TikTok is clearly dominating, especially with the younger audience. 1 billion views a day. I mean, that's huge. I don't know how much time people have out there, but clearly a lot. And TikTok does skew a little bit more female, more women than it does more male. About 56% of the users are more women, but it skews heavily younger. We're talking the 13 to 18-year-olds. Majority of them are on that platform, utilizing for a plethora of things. Right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, in general, especially with COVID last year and, you know, that time that everybody was home, we really saw this, for all social platforms, the amount of time being spent definitely increased last year. And what we're seeing, TikTok specifically, was the fastest downloaded app of the year, but we haven't seen that drop off. It's still one of the most popular social media platforms compared to Facebook. As the other example, we're not seeing the growth that we were seeing during the pandemic. We've actually seen it stagnate and go down a little bit. So with the addition of these new platforms, it's really taking away that share of voice that some of these other platforms have had for so long, like Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely. All right, so our last fourth set of social media that we see continuous growth year to year. The first up is Reddit. There are about 430 million monthly active users. So Reddit is a little bit different from other social media platforms. There are communities called subreddits where users really utilize this platform to look for brand information, to talk about certain things that are happening either within their community or just within the world in general. So you're seeing that skew a little bit more male than female here. About 74% of Reddit users are males in comparison to the women. And on average, users spend about 16 minutes a day on Reddit, so still a pretty high number. And a little fun fact, it's actually the number 4 most visited website via Alexa. So very interesting to see how Alexa is being utilized in combination with this platform. Next up is Snapchat. Some people thought Snapchat was kind of going to fizzle away, especially as some of these newer platforms came into play, such as TikTok, but Snapchat is not going anywhere. It's slightly a different take now, especially as it's incorporating influencers into its business strategies, but still, Snapchat is still one of those steadily growing social media platforms. Users spend about 30 minutes a day on Snapchat, and it skews more women than men. So again, about 55% of the users on Snapchat are women in comparison to men. And again, that age demo is very similar to TikTok, where majority of the users are younger as well. Next up is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very niche, social platform. You really have to be in the business mindset to utilize LinkedIn for what it's for its capabilities, as many use it for. On average, users spend 6 minutes a day on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not one of those daily access social platforms. But when people are on there, they tend to spend quite a while there because they're either looking for a job, trying to make a business connection, trying to, kind of put out there what their business is about. So it's a little bit of a niche market or a niche platform in comparison to the other social platforms. And here we're kind of seeing almost an even split on the male to female ratio is about 51 to 49 for men versus women. And then finally is Pinterest. Pinterest is another, I would consider a niche as well. You do have to be in a certain mind frame or in a certain lifestyle to access Pinterest for what it is. A lot of people use it for inspiration. I'm sure if you've been on Pinterest, there are Pinterest boards that people utilize to get inspiration about home decor, wedding ideas, things like that. Users spend about 14 minutes a day on Pinterest, and there are on average about 320 million monthly active users on Pinterest. And Pinterest skews heavily women, so 70% of the users on this platform are women. All right. So kind of diving into what the 2020 social media demo breakout is. If you guys take a look at this chart, you will notice that more of the older demographics, such as the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, they continue to use Facebook far more than any of the other social platforms. In comparison to millennials, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, which is a much younger age demo, who tend to rely a little bit on the more video-centric channels, and you'll notice that with YouTube as well as TikTok. So this is a nice little overall infographic for you guys to see where the older is skewing versus where the younger demo is skewing. Okay. All right. So we're going to kind of get into what the difference is between organic versus paid. Sam talked a little bit about that. The algorithms on these social channels are changing, where it's becoming a little bit of a challenge for brands to simply rely on organic, and why it's important to have both in your overall marketing strategy. So really what's really important to know here is that, your organic social media activity is anything that doesn't have paid promotion around it. And obviously your paid social media is anything that you put money or any monetary incentives around it. So organic media, social media is really best for maintaining that online presence. So you typically see brands post at least once, maybe a few times a day. They either want to just, interact with their target audience, or just want to promote a new product or new service. It's also great for building a community, right? So I did talk about how important it is nowadays where brands interact and engage with their customers, whether they're commenting on their posts, whether they're complaining about something. Having that interaction really builds and solidifies your relationship with your customers. And then finally, long-term brand building. I think this is very important for any business out there, whether you're just starting out or whether you're an established brand. And then what's paid ads best for? It's best for reaching your existing audience. So you have a pool of, let's say, 500 followers. With paid advertisement, you can reach those people plus more, right? You can expand your audience pool beyond the typical people that usually access your organic posts. So paid advertisement is really key and important for that. And finally, it's really important for optimizing your business goals. Yes, let's say you're trying to make sales for the month, or you're trying to get people to engage a little bit more on your organic ads. Paid advertisement on social media is the way to do it. All right. And then we'll get into influencer marketing. One of the fastest growing trends across multiple social media platforms. I think it kind of really kicked off on Instagram when everyone was talking about influencers, but now you're seeing that trend across all of the social platforms. It's really great because it's really one of the fastest growing reasons for online customer acquisition methods. The influencer industry continues to grow because, companies and brands use it as a way to find new customers. Influencers have this great online presence, and so they grow their followers. So for businesses to tap into it, they tend to do these sponsorships and partnerships with influencers as a way to now tap into target audiences that they may never have had access into. And if it's done very well, it's really such a great addition to your overall marketing and advertising campaigns. And it's really still one of the best ways to reach that millennial and Gen Z audience.
I think one thing to note, right, especially when we're talking about social media, I think with the younger generation, they're very in tune to what is, salesy, or a brand just trying to sell you something versus something that feels more organic. And especially when we think about TikTok and what people are there for, it's very short, snackable content. And for these younger generations, their celebrities are these influencers that have all of this following on social media, and those are the people they look for to help guide their purchase decisions more than anyone else. So I think it's really important when we're trying to speak to this demographic that we tap into influencers and really understand how do we utilize this in a way that feels very organic to the platform that we're on, so that people buy into it and they don't feel like they're just being sold something.
All right. So here we're gonna dive into the different social media ad formats and how best you can utilize it for the different initiatives that you may have on social media. So the first that you're seeing is that image ad. Image ad is really great for driving traffic to your website. They're simple, they're easy, and they're really great to start any campaign with. And then you have your video ad. Video ads are super popular across almost all social media platforms these days. Not only are they available on these platforms, they are largely preferred as the creative type. You will tend to see far more engagement and interaction on your video ad in comparison to any other ad format. Next up is your product ad. And depending on which platform you're using, is also utilized with your collection ads. They tend to be used interchangeably because they do allow for a more immersive and visual experience for the audience. So you can kind of compare them to like your storefront, right? It really allows your users to kind of window shop. You have that big image at the top, and then you have like the row of 4 products or more underneath it. So it's a really great tool to utilize if you're promoting a new product or merchandise. And then you have your interactive ads. These types of ads, they utilize the latest digital technology and really encourage the users to stay on the ad a little bit longer and interact with it. You will notice these types of ads are similar to like the Canvas ads on Facebook, the Messenger ads, both on Facebook and Instagram, your stories ads, or even like conversational ads that you will see on Twitter. And then you have your leads ads. Your leads ads are also called lead generation ads. They help to build the list of interested customers that you're going after. So whether it be a newsletter subscriber or a follow-up service or even an event registration, lead ad is the perfect way to go. It's really the best ad to utilize for that effort. And then finally, your text ad, very simple ad. You're just seeing a text there. A lot of that is usually utilized on Twitter and a few on Facebook, but you don't get any images or videos on there. It's just that simple, clean text that you get served. Okay, and here's just an overall visual of which specific ad formats run on which specific social media platform. So you kind of see that Facebook really covers off every single ad format there, as well as Instagram, where if you take a look at, YouTube, you're really just getting a lot of more of the video placement. So really a great reference if you kind of need like that top level understanding of where should I be running this ad or which platform accepts which ad format. Okay. So we'll kind of get into the meat of this. So I gave you guys like the breakdown, the overview of understanding social media, the different ad formats, but how does that relate to how you can really set up a successful social media campaign, right? How can you apply this to your business, whether if it's an intro business or a business that's already established? The first and most important thing is to know your audience and know your potential demo target. So if you're a women's company advertising leggings, right, you kind of want to know who your audience is to target or to even know which social media platforms to utilize. And this is important, right, because this will help you in not just identifying and defining your goals, but also your KPIs. So if, again, referring to those leggings that you're selling, are you trying to drive people to your website? Are you just trying to make people aware that you even sell leggings? What are your goals? What are your KPIs? So really, really make sure that you break that down as detailed as possible because, again, it will just drive to the overall success of your campaign. So develop the right creative for the right channels. This is key, right? We don't want to simply copy and paste one single image across all the different social media platforms that's out there. It's not going to work. You're going to get just a basic performance, which is not the most, efficient or even cost effective. You want to have quality over quantity. So design and cater your ads to the right target, to the right audience, and to the right social media platform. Monitor and measure your performance. The beautiful thing about social media is like within a 24-hour of setting up your ad and running it, you already have insights. You already have data that you can utilize. And that's a great thing. That's a great tool to have because, again, you could kind of make decisions as quickly as you want, or if you want to kind of wait and see if performance, increases or doesn't, you could kind of make those predictions as these campaigns are running throughout your entire flight. And then finally, reapply and expand on what works. So you've run this paid social ad, you have information from it, you have data, you have insights. Now you can use those learnings and apply it to future campaigns and apply it to future initiatives. So that's really one of the beauties of social media and social media advertising.
Yeah, and I touched on this in the beginning about, utilizing the data that we have to really help inform who our current audience is, who our potential target maybe should be. And to Ajama's point, the beauty about social media is a lot of that insight can be learned. So we've worked with a number of clients that are completely brand new, launching a new brand or a new product. and really don't have a starting off point. And there's a lot of testing and learning that we can do within the social media platforms that allows us to set things up in a way that we're learning as we go, and we're having those immediate insights to inform what's happening in that moment, but also to help guide us moving forward with any strategy or adjustment that we want to make in terms of target audience or the right creative we should be using or the right messaging. So it really is a valuable tool.
So here, I just wanted to provide a visual example of some of these successful campaigns that we've ran for our clients. And we have, a variety of clients across different categories, but just wanted to highlight some of the ones that we've worked on recently. One of them is with PSE&G New Jersey and PSE&G Long Island. They are under one umbrella, but we treat them as two different clients because they have two different initiatives. PSE New Jersey had a gas safety initiative last year, so they knew the importance of utilizing social media, about educating their customers, about the importance of knowing gas safety, especially if you own a home or if you live in an apartment. So one of the things that we enjoyed interacting with the client about and having this conversation and them being in agreement was the variety of creative to utilize. So to my point from the last slide, quality over quantity, they understood the importance of having a video ad, a static ad, a GIF. So we utilize all types of imageries, infographics, and we really saw such a great overall performance on that initiative. Long Island, PSE&G Long Island is another client that utilizes social media across all of their campaigns and initiatives. And they love to utilize social media because they see that instant result, right? In comparison to if you're comparing it to a TV buy or any other more, bigger funnel or higher funnel channels. They also utilize social media to drive people to the mobile app to download it. So they have a specific PSE&G Long Island mobile app. So we've had a social media campaign where people can click on the ad and go directly to the mobile app as well and get it downloaded. So it was a really successful campaign, and we saw great results for this client. All right. So next up is some of our more regulated clients. So we had a big initiative with Census last year. They wanted to make sure that they were reaching a target audience that it was a little difficult for them to reach, specifically the Hispanic and African American audience. So one of the great things that they utilized for their social media ads were in-language advertisement, as you will see with that second card. That one is specifically in Spanish. Everything about it was very, very familiar with those that received the ad. We actually saw one of the highest engagement on that specific ad in comparison to the others. So that really tells you how sometimes taking the time to create ads that resonates with the target audience that you're going after will yield you that higher result instead of just pumping out or just pushing out a more generic ad. So we really saw great performance there. Another a client of ours was the New Jersey Department of Human Services. As we know, 2020 was such a huge year, and it took a toll on a lot of people, especially when it comes to mental health. So they had this really great initiative where you can call or text a specific hotline if you needed a little bit of help. So we were very excited to be a part of this initiative, right? It's not every day you get to be a part of something that really helps people significantly, especially in a way like this. So we saw a lot of success. They saw a lot of people calling and texting the hotline. So it was really a feel-good campaign for us overall. All right. And then we are going to conclude this discussion with some social media trends that we are seeing already and most likely already happening for this year. One of the biggest things, especially in the social platform space, is new features, a huge change in their algorithms, and I'm talking all across the board. So, social media is one of those platforms that continuously change, and they change to adapt to the users. When social media first got started, a lot of it was more image and text-based, and now we're seeing that transition into the more video-based and specifically shorter videos. We always tell this to our clients. We see the best performance from the 6 to 10-second video versus the 15 to 30 seconds. So these are some of the discussions we're constantly having with them. But some top points I wanted to call out here. Like I said, video is really going to continue to grow and take center stage. We see this trend into the next couple of years. Video is visually stimulating. It captures you. It pulls you in, especially when you're comparing it to other ad formats. Social media will double as a shopping channel. We're seeing this trend grow. It's really picked up in the Instagram space, where you don't even have to leave the social media platform anymore. You purchase, you make that buy in the platform. You don't have to go from one app to another. So we're going to continue to see that trend grow for the next year or so. Consumers will crave more snackable content. Just to my first point, again, no one's really sitting around and watching those 30-second videos anymore. They just want to get that information as quick as possible. We're seeing this trend TikTok was really the big hitter for this, but we're seeing this trend on Instagram, also on Facebook. So the shorter, the more concise, the more precise what it is you're saying, the higher your engagement and the bigger your reach will most likely be. So craveable, snackable content is key here in these social media platforms. So users will also embrace more gaming in VR. I think we're seeing a lot of that kind of being incorporated and intertwined in the social space. We're seeing a lot of brands incorporate VR, virtual reality, and gaming in their ads as well. So again, this is another trend that we're expecting to grow, or we're expecting to see grow in the next year or so. And then continued growth and use of influencers. Influencers really took space in the social media platforms in the last year or so, and they continue to kind of dominate. As Sam say, the younger audience really trusts these influencers, especially when comparing it to like celebrities. So it's really key for brands to kind of consider how they can integrate influencers into their marketing and advertising plan. And last but definitely not least is inclusivity in everything these days, right? Again, 2020 was another pivotal year on the importance of including people of all spectrums, whether it be gender, whether it be race, whether it be religion. So it's really important for every brand to consider the importance of how this is going to relate to the masses, who are we speaking to, and how best we can incorporate everyone or anyone that may have been marginalized or neglected into their marketing and advertising plans. All right. So I think that's about it. That's the gist of it. I will pass this over back to Sam.
And that's about all the time we have today for you today about social media. But thank you so much for being with us for this bonus workshop on social media. Thank you for attending the New Jersey Women Business Leaders Forum.
Thank you.